Hi everyone, my name is Willow Rose Moondancer and I make videos here on YouTube about Wicca, and I also have a blog called wiccansaren'twicked.com. Today I wanted to do a video of a post that I did a while ago on my blog. I thought it would be fun to have this one in video format. A while ago I did two interviews. I did an interview on myself, and then I asked pretty much the same questions to my partner. I am a Wiccan, as you guys obviously know, and my partner is an agnostic. So I kind of wanted to see how I viewed having an agnostic partner as a Wiccan, and how my partner as an agnostic viewed having a partner who is Wiccan. So today I am going to do my part of the interview where I tell you what it's like to date an agnostic. And if you guys really like this video, let me know down below and I will do a follow-up video on the interview of my boyfriend. So, I thought when I was going to tell my partner that I was Wiccan, before telling him what exactly that meant, that he was going to think I was in some kind of cult, and we were going to be this cult of people who believe that they could do magic like Harry Potter, and they could like unlock doors with these magical wands, or like make something come to them from across the room, or control water, or something crazy like that. I was also worried that he was going to see this as an even more make-believe religion than Christianity was when I followed Christianity. So as someone who didn't really believe in anything, any kind of religion really was kind of like hocus pocus to him, and he already felt that way about Christianity, which I thought was it's a relatively common religion and it makes sense to a lot of people. And here I was about to embark on this Wiccan journey, which very few people, at least in my area, follow, and it's not very well known. So I thought he was gonna think that I was just some crazy person who believed in, like, I don't know, unicorns and magical potions that were gonna heal like disease and all this stuff. However, I told him, and I know him very well, so I had a general idea of how he was going to react. It wouldn't be the first time that I told him that I believed in something a little off or a little weird. At this point, we had been together for, I don't know, like 3 years, I guess it would have been-ish, 3 or 4 maybe. And so I know that as a person, he's pretty judgy, as in the fact that he has his opinions, but he's not mean about it. He will never confront you and tell you that you're being ridiculous or be rude in any sense. He'll just have his opinions, and unless you ask for them, he'll keep them to himself. I could tell that he did have his opinions and that he thought it was a little bizarre. But saying that, he thinks most religion in general is just a little bit weird and a little bit bizarre. He wasn't necessarily judging me solely on being Wiccan, but just on being religious in general, because I had just gone from being Christian to agnostic, and then I was leaving my agnosticism, is that a word? And going back to religion. My favorite thing about having an agnostic partner over any other kind of partner other than Wiccan is that despite the fact that he doesn't believe what I do, he doesn't think that I'm crazy for it. So he doesn't think that it's completely impossible and that you have to just be this dead body in the ground and that's it. He does entertain the idea that there could be something more out there, but he just doesn't have proof that it exists. So he doesn't think that my ideas of what happens are completely impossible and illogical and never going to be the case. He just doesn't actively believe in it at this point in his life. So I guess that's something that makes agnosticism a little easier than just having a partner who's atheist or a partner who has a completely different religion altogether. However, the most challenging thing about having a partner who's agnostic or a partner who just doesn't follow your faith in general is the feeling of isolation that it brings. So maybe if you were living in a community that had a lot of other pagans or a lot of other Wiccans, this con, I guess, wouldn't be so extreme for you. But for me, where I don't know a single other person who is Wiccan and I'm not friends with any pagans, I know of a few, but I'm not friends with them. It's very isolating not to have anybody that you can really talk to about your faith and what you're experiencing. So I can't really, in general, just talk to him about anything that has to do with my faith and then have him actually understand where I'm coming from. So I very much have to choose to either keep everything to myself or tell him anyway, knowing that he's not fully comprehending what I'm telling him. More often than not, I will choose to just tell him anyway because he's a good listener and he humors me. But I think that's also probably a big reason why I have this blog and this YouTube channel, because it gives me the chance to connect with other people who have the same beliefs or similar beliefs as I do, and gives me people to talk to about it. When it comes to my partner celebrating the Sabbats with me and stuff like that, I do enjoy it to an extent. So because he's agnostic, he doesn't have any strong feeling to celebrate Christian holidays. And from the very beginning I was like, hey, I want to celebrate these Wiccan holidays. If you want, we can celebrate both Christian holidays like Christmas and Easter and all that stuff, and my Wiccan holidays, or if you're comfortable, I would enjoy just celebrating the Wiccan ones. And he was fine just celebrating the Wiccan ones, but when it comes to him celebrating, it's very much the same as if we were celebrating like the regular Christian holidays as people who weren't Christians. You know, we weren't going to the church and celebrating there, and we weren't like reading scripture or praying or anything on Christmas, but we were doing the fun things like, you know, decorating the tree and going looking at the lights and doing presents and Santa and all that stuff. It's very much similar for how he goes about doing our Wiccan holidays. So he'll dye eggs with me, he'll make bread with me, he'll go on nature walks with me, and he'll really do just anything that's fun and not inherently religious. But he doesn't want to, and I don't want him to come do any rituals with me. I think due to the fact that he does not share my faith, I would feel very self-conscious knowing that he would not be into it like I am, and possibly silently making his own opinions about the whole thing. And yeah, I just would rather him not. Obviously, if he was interested in experiencing a ritual, I would definitely let him join and put aside my discomfort for one ritual so he can gain new knowledge or just experience whatever it is he's looking for. but as of right now, neither of us have any interest in that. So when it comes to this question, when I answered it on my blog, I had not talked to my partner about it yet. However, my answer has changed a little bit since I have since talked to him about it. I don't remember if I've talked to him about it or if he just simply read it, as he does casually read my blog now and again. As for spells, I have talked to him about it. He doesn't mind if I do them for him. However, I just haven't really necessarily felt the need to, so I haven't. As for divination though, I have done divination for us as a couple, and I have done one tarot spread specifically for him, and that was very recently, like within the last month or so. I don't necessarily tell him about any results. I don't necessarily feel the need to even tell him I'm doing it for him, although I did this time. If he wants to know what the results are of my reading, then I most definitely will tell him, but he doesn't believe in divination. He's a very scientific-minded being, so I just kind of leave that for my own knowledge. To any Wiccans who have not told their partner their faith and they are still hiding in the shadows and are nervous to, you know, tell someone that you believe in something that they might not totally understand and think is a little weird. If they can't accept you for who you are, then you are not with the right person. I never for a second thought that my partner would not accept me for being Wiccan. That was never something that I had to worry about, and it's never something that anybody should have to worry about if they're in a relationship. You as a person would already, like, if you're now just like, before I had this title of Wiccan, I was the same person I was before. I still believed in all the same things. I still was as deeply connected with nature then as I am now. I, if you will, showed signs of being Wiccan for a long time. So just me putting a title on my belief system didn't change who I was, which means my partner shouldn't care because he loved me already. And it's the same thing for you. Nothing should change. I would recommend that you explain your faith as simply as possible with as few details as necessary to get the point across to start with. When I first told my partner, I completely left out the magic part because I just thought it was too much, too soon, and I wasn't partaking in magic anyway, so it wasn't really necessary to talk about it. I told him about how it was a nature-based religion, how I viewed deity, and that I was really connected to the moon. And I think that was pretty much it for a while. And as things went on and as he got more used to that idea, I would slowly start, you know, educating him on more of the more detailed things that I believe in. I would start talking about divination more. I eventually brought up the law of attraction and then turned that into a conversation on how it relates kind of to magic and then my whole belief system on magic. It's a very gradual thing. You don't want to bombard someone who knows nothing about Wicca all about all the details. It's going to be very overwhelming. So take it slow. There's no rush. You're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. And ask them if they have any questions. I know that over the last couple years, I've just tried to be as honest with my partner as possible. Every once in a while, I'll be like, hey, you know, do you have any questions about what I believe in? Or if I'm stuck on what to make for a blog post or a YouTube video, I'm like, hey, if you were going to be someone trying to learn about Wicca, what would you want to know? What don't you know yet? And then answer their questions honestly. Don't like try and sugarcoat things or hide things that you think that they'll judge you for. Just tell them, and more often than not, it's gonna be fine, and they're gonna love you anyway. So when it comes to any last thoughts or feelings, I wanted to say a few things. So firstly, if you're showing this video to a loved one who's not Wiccan because you want them to know that you're Wiccan, for that person, just try and understand their faith. Try and show that you respect it and that you appreciate them. I know my partner knows that I feel really connected to the moon and the goddess in general. And whenever we see the moon outside, he makes an effort to point out how beautiful she looks. And it's such a small thing, but it's something that I really appreciate, and it makes me feel really respected as a Wiccan in our relationship. But for the Wiccans who are probably going to be the ones watching this the most, don't try and convert your partner into being a Wiccan. Wicca is not about making this big kingdom of Wiccans like Christianity is, like making a big kingdom of God's children. It's not the same. We don't care if someone is Christian or Muslim or Jewish or Hindu or pagan or Wiccan. We don't care, because at the end of the day, we don't think your belief system is going to change what happens to you when you die. When you're a Christian and you're not a Christian, or when you're a Christian and there's someone who isn't a Christian, you think they're going to hell and that you're going to heaven. That's not the case in Wicca. It doesn't matter what your spiritual path is. We think you're all being reincarnated, and the fact that you're not Wiccan is not going to change it's not going to change who you become when you are reincarnated. Just because you were a Christian or because you were Jewish doesn't mean you're going to turn into a frog because you weren't Wiccan, you know? So it doesn't matter, and it's going to damage your relationship if you're constantly pressuring them to believe something that they don't. I know when I was Christian as a teenager and I first started dating my partner, I was constantly trying to convert him into being a Christian because, one, I really was a devout believer in God and it meant a lot to me, but two, because I didn't want my partner to go to hell when he died. And thank goodness he stuck by me through me trying to convert him constantly for a good couple years. But it wasn't fair to him, and it's not going to be fair to your partner. However, it is okay to educate them. Just because you're giving them information about your faith doesn't mean that you are pressuring them. As long as you're giving them information in a loving, respectful manner, I think that is definitely something that should be encouraged, because your partner should know everything about you. And just because they don't follow your faith doesn't mean that that faith shouldn't be an important part of their life, because it's an important part of your life. Their relationship with your faith is just going to be different than your relationship with it. And yeah, just to tie in, like, don't pressure them to celebrate things that they don't want to celebrate, or to do things that they don't want to do. Don't pressure them to be part of a ritual with you. Don't pressure them to do sex magic with you. Don't pressure them to have a hand fasting over a wedding with you. Those are things that you can talk about and you can discuss, but there should never be any sort of amount of pressure. It's never okay to peer pressure or anything like that, regardless of your relationship with the person or what it is that you're trying to pressure them into. It's never okay. However, that is all I have for today's video. Sorry this was a kind of a long one. I hope you enjoyed though. Let me know down below if you would be interested in seeing my partner's part of this interview. And also let me know if you are a Wiccan who is in a relationship with someone other than a fellow Wiccan. I would love to hear what your guys' dynamic is and maybe even set up an interview with you if that's something you're interested in. But make sure you check out my blog, wiccansaren'twicked.com. I make 2 posts a week, one on Wednesday and one on Friday, and make sure you follow me here because I make videos every Monday and Thursday. And until next time, blessed be.